Howdy! How are you doing today, folks? Glad you could make it here to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast with your hosts, Chris Harris and John Farquhar, two of the best-looking risk management guys there is in the industry. But enough of that. We're here to talk about our guests. We have two special guests today, and we're going to talk about a program that's coming up. It's going to be out in Atlantic Canada. And it's a conference or a symposium, actually. And it's called the National Recruiting and Retention Symposium. And just as it says, it's about recruiting and retention. And it's all about trucking, drivers, staff within your organization. So without any further ado, let's get at it. And we'll meet our guests, Kelly and Kim.
Hey, welcome, everybody. How are you?
Great. How about you guys?
Well, you can already tell Farquhar is beyond himself. It's a Friday afternoon, right? Mr. Kim, how are you?
Yeah, it's great to see you folks. Thanks for having us on.
Okay. It's great. Kelly, can you do a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. So I'm Kelly Henderson, Executive Director for the Trucking Human Resource Sector Council Atlantic. We're a not-for-profit organization who works with the trucking industry on all their HR issues.
And you guys do an outstanding job. Kim, I'll throw it over to you. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm Kim Richardson, and I'm president of THRSC and also the founder and president of TransRep. The NRRS is a TransRep KRTS venture, and we're partnering with our good friends out east, the people that we partnered with for many, many years, and we're really, really excited to do what we're doing. So thanks again for having us.
Hey, it's an honor. It truly is, because, of course, John and I, John, you attended the NRRS. We sat together, the one that was here in Ontario.
Yep.
So we got kind of a good idea of what to expect, except you've got some different speakers out there. And I think we should also mention some awesome sponsors out there.
Yes.
Right. Well, I mean, let's give a shout out to Revolution Staffing. Our friend Dave McDonald does a great job. And of course, Marilyn from 10th Street is also sponsoring, right? 10th Street is a sponsor out there. So that's awesome that people have stepped up to the plate.
Some good sponsors, good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there are two key sponsors. So we've done things a little bit different out in the east than what we've done here in Ontario, and they do things different out in the east, and always do things really well. But so we have two key sponsors, and then we have a bunch of other sponsors, which include event friends, and then sponsorship that include booths. But yeah, just two major sponsors. We're really pleased to have them both back because they've sponsored in the past.
Well, and these events don't happen without a little sponsorship.
Exactly. Need some support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the reason they happen.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsors, because it's extremely important that everything gets supported like this. Hey, go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to say, the last two symposiums have not happened in face-to-face environments because of the pandemic. So, and it's great that those sponsors supported the virtual conferences that happened. So that was even great to continue that and keep moving forward into the real live phase again.
And who's not excited about having face-to-face handshaking events again?
Absolutely.
I like a good hug.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
was going to say hugging is in too.
Yeah. Chris likes it or Kim likes it when I come up and give him a hug, and then Chris is more of a half hug. So.
Yeah, well, I know who you like more. Okay. Okay. Tova, am I pronouncing Tova Sherman's name correctly?
It's Tova Sherman. So Tova like Nova. Tova like Nova. That's what she said.
Well, that's perfect. But Tova is a speaker that I have not heard of before. And I'd love for both of you to explain what Tova is going to be talking about.
So I'll jump in first. Tova's going to talk about people, or not people with disabilities, but people who are underrepresented in the sector. So it could be people with disabilities, it could be people with other barriers to employment or what have you. But then she's also going to tie into that mental health and how that impacts work and workplaces, and how employers can do a little bit more to help make sure those doors are open for employees or potential new employees to be a part of our sector. And when we're looking at shortages that we're facing, it is so important for us to be recognizing that we need diverse strategies to get more people into the sector. And there's a lot of good people that want to be a part of it, so we need to make sure those doors are open and stay open.
And that's absolute.
Yeah, I was going to say this industry's changed so much over the last 20 years. You know, we've got a different dynamic of driver coming in. And this is deserving. This isn't the old boys club anymore where, you know, I just drove, 100 hours backwards, for crying out loud, and never had a nap. I'm good. That's not life anymore. We've got a lot of young folk in here and whatnot, and they still want a lot of home time, family time. So with all the pressures and stresses of the job and the industry and what goes on out there, it's great to have a coach like Tova to be able to give you some information on how you can manage these particular health-related issues. And I in reading some about this, I thought, oh, disability. A lot of people would not think that a person with disability could work in the trucking industry, but they can. There's so many jobs within the organization that could be managed by people with disabilities.
Absolutely. We're working with two groups right now, one with Autism Nova Scotia on getting a couple people in as professional drivers. And we're also working with another group who removes disabilities or disability barriers, getting them into the warehouse, getting them in as a dispatcher. I mean, there's so many broad opportunities that we have. And we've all enjoyed really great careers from this, so from the sector itself. So why wouldn't we want to share that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Kim, can you add something?
Yeah, absolutely. When we first started talking about Tova, Kelly made the recommendation. The first thing I did was go on YouTube and watch her. And, I was blown away. She's energetic. She is herself dynamic. She has a very unique way of presenting, which I think is going to be really, really well accepted by those who are attending. And, Johnny, you talked about the different dynamics in our industry now with drivers. And, we all see that through the entire company, right? Yeah, I get so excited when I go on a Zoom and most recently into some meetings and walk into the terminals and offices, and I see those young people now and the different cultures. For me, that's heartwarming, number one, and it's needed, number two. They're the future of our industry.
Yeah. Well, us old guys with white hair are not immortal. We're going to move on, and we need those young folks to come in and step up behind us and carry that on, So, and I think that's a bit of a sad thing that we're seeing in the industry. The pioneers, their kids, some of them have stepped in and taken and moved on and they're running the companies, and others have gone, not interested. Have a nice day. I'm out of here. I'm going to go own a couple of McDonald's or Tim Hortons. So we need folk to come in because drivers are not growing on trees.
Well, recently I was talking to a general manager for a fairly large trucking company, about 200 power units. And he was saying that, hey, I need truck drivers, but I need mechanics. I need a shop supervisor. I need a safety and compliance manager. I need a dispatcher. I need a customer service. He said, if you can find me anybody in trucking, I can hire them.
Yep.
I think that's why.
We've always.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's why the National Recruitment or Retention Symposium, I think, is so valuable and such a great leadership move by TransRep to host and to take that on, is because we do have so many needs in this sector, and we really tunnel vision that we need drivers, which of course we do. But we do need those other roles, and at least the symposium gives us an opportunity to actually showcase those roles, to highlight recruiters, and also to look at different strategies for, as you said, Chris, for all occupations.
Yeah, I don't think there's a position in trucking at the moment that has too many people. I think,
No.
and look at all the skill though, like a diesel mechanic. My God, what a great profession that is, and we need them. You know.
Well, I think one of the things that we really struggle with in this industry, and I see it a lot, every time I go see a customer, I see the same thing. Everybody's looking for that experienced person. Regardless of the role, regardless of the job they want, they're looking for that guy that's got 2 years experience doing this, or a year doing that, or 5 years doing that. And we're just not finding them. They're not out there anymore. You know, the old guys like us are retiring off and not interested. What we have to start looking at is the new people coming in, you know, the young people, and go, have they got the right attitude? Have they got the work ethic? Because we can teach the skill. We can train. We can mentor. Kim, I think you're above me. You got a training school, you know, and that's what you do. You take new people that have no experience and teach them how to drive a truck. You know, there's other places that teach people how to be a mechanic. And then you have all these great people already in your organization to go, help me mentor these new people. That will help you in retention, because if I help these people, they're going to want to stay. They're going to want to enjoy what we do here. Maybe one of those people down the road will also become a mentor themselves.
Well said, Johnny.
Yeah,
I know, I feel like
very
I
well
deserve some
said.
applause.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, I think we might have missed a speaker for.
Sorry to cut you off there, Kim, but Kelly wanted
I was
applause. What a woman wants, she gets.
No, Johnny, that was really good.
I was going to say, I could use the
Yeah.
old adage that, hey, I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express last night, but I haven't done one of those in 2 years.
There you go. Kim, sorry, you were saying something.
No, well, I was just commending Johnny on what he had to say and how he said it. And, you know, when you take a look at the insides of the operations of our companies, you know, we always see the drivers, we always see the mechanics, and we see the external stuff. But when you take a look at what goes on inside, to make that company successful, I think there's so many careers and job opportunities inside the building. And what excites me is that those individuals that are coming in and being mentored, as Johnny referred to, by good people within the company, they're growing within the company. And I think the industry is in a better place because we're more business savvy than we were 25 years ago. Like, let's face it, trucking, the profit margins for over-the-road carriers are pretty slim. And to have good people and retain them and keep them is really critical. So, you know, the HR, the sales, the mentorship, the IT people, and the dispatching and human resources, that is so critical to the success of an operation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, it kind of leads us to another speaker, the way this conversation's going. And I didn't plan it this way, but some young fella by the name of Matt Richardson, who's one of those up and coming, you know, transportation professionals, is also speaking. Kim, do you want to talk about what Matt's going to be addressing at the symposium?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And Kelly, please jump in at any time. Matt's actually going to be moderating a panel, and it's going to be a panel of youth that are in our industry, and they're going to talk about the highs and the lows, the goods and the bads, what they like about the industry, what they don't, what companies can do to keep them, what they need. You know, I'll tell you, when I take a look back at when we started and as we started to grow, the rules and regulations and stipulations and uniforms, and you had to do this and had to do that. Boy, if we had those SOPs in place now, I don't know if we would survive, because they need flexibility. Their needs are much different. And Kelly, what do you think? What do you think about that?
I think it's true, and I always think it's interesting because we talk about youth, and I mean, you hear the feedback from employers who say, oh, it's so hard to get youth engaged and it's hard to work with youth and they have so many expectations. And I kind of sit back and say, are they really wrong? Like, look at the way that we all worked. It was a badge of honor, or it is a badge of honor to work, 50, 60 hours a week and, to do all the traveling and to not be home and not have that family experience or as much as what other people want and have. And so I kind of look at it and think, why are we so shocked by what people want when they've seen their own family, and especially if they had drivers in their family or people who did a lot of traveling in their families, and they know that they weren't around, they don't want to necessarily have that for their own experiences. So I think that it'll be really interesting to hear that good in the experiences, but also the challenges that they face. And I think we as an industry have to step back and say, is what they're asking for really that much of a stretch? Like, they want a work-life balance. They want to be able to be around their family. I don't know. I think that maybe they're onto something, and maybe we're just outdated ourselves.
Oh, I'd agree with you there. I was going to use a perfect example is myself. Oh, wow, this is scary. Anyway, I've got 2 kids. They're now well grown. One of them's got a kid of her own. And it's interesting because I was driving at the time, and I was running my trucking company from the steering wheel of my truck while my kids were babies. And I missed that opportunity, but I didn't think nothing of it because that was the lifestyle. That's how things were back then. So you're exactly right. You're seeing it now and you're going, yeah, man, I wish we were thinking that back in our day, I would have had more time with my kids. I would have watched them grow up and seen those first steps and got those first words and got to take them, out to the park and stuff like that. But hey, Dad was too busy. Dad come home one day out of 2 weeks and, enough to get the laundry done, repack the bag and giddy up, go. So now I try to spend as much time as I can with my kids. Even though they're older, it's like, hey, I explained to them, I've lost so much time with you guys. I'm trying to make it up. And it's a shame because we didn't have to. We just had to change our mindset and the way we did things.
And I think the industry can adapt and can bring and allow people the home time that they're looking for. There's no reason we can't.
Yeah. It's going to have to. It has to evolve, or it's like a dinosaur. It's going to die.
Yeah, we either change or we're going to lose them. There are so many other sectors looking for people.
Oh, yeah.
People have so many choices right now. So if we want to be competitive, we have to be open to something different, something that is not traditional.
Well, not traditional. Sorry, not traditional trucking stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Kim.
Absolutely.
No. To parlay on what Kelly's saying there, I mean, I often say this when given the opportunity, our competition is not within our industry. Everybody says, oh, you know what, they're jumping over this company, that company. Our competition is every other industry that has something better to offer. Our youth or our, middle age, whatever you want to define it as, because people are very into what their wants and needs are, and it's important to them, and kudos to them. I'll share a story with you. I can remember, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe it was then, we had a associate meeting with all of our people, and I was addressing our company and all of the staff and our teammates, and I said, effective immediately, there's no more dress code. And my daughter Jamie was sitting in the meeting, and we had a pretty stringent dress code. Company shirts, name badges in the office, jeans were only worn on Fridays, and we abolished it. And we abolished it because we knew that was going to help keep people. I mean, that may sound really weird, but people, they want to be able to wear what they want to wear within reason. We put some stipulations in place: no holes in the jeans, and no low cut tops, and all that sort of good stuff. But it's amazing what it did to morale. But my daughter, I can remember Jamie slamming her hand on the table, and she said, I never thought I'd hear Kim Richardson say there'd be no dress code, because dress is always important. It's a first impression.
And she's
my point is, get with the times. get with the
Exactly,
times.
exactly. So yeah, well,
All right.
it's interesting because you have a moderator for one of the panels who is, in my mind, an outside the box thinker. With the evolution of transportation, Michael Zellick of Wellington Motor Freight is one of the few carriers in this industry that has made the move to an hourly or salary type pay compensation package for drivers. And that's like, so many people are like, whoa, you can't do that. No, there's no way. But look what it's done for him. His retention level is through the roof, just phenomenal.
Zero.
Yeah, zero. Exactly. Zero lost drivers out of that. So I think that's one mechanism of trying to retain and recruit drivers. So people have to start thinking outside the box, because I think, I'm trying to remember, was it Albert Einstein that said, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result? It's the definition of insanity. So we've got to change what we're doing. The only way you're going to get a different result is do something different.
Yeah.
And you talk about Zellick, and they have their own network of recruiting and retention people. Like his own, I'm not gonna say he has. They have their own group, and they meet regularly. They got that team chat thing going on their phones, and they're always talking with each other and sharing ideas. Man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's the way those youngins do things today.
The rebels.
Yeah, the rebel. They're disrupting our industry.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's about time it's been disrupted.
Yeah.
So.
Mike Zellick is going to be one of the other speakers there. Kelly, what else is Mike going to be addressing?
They're going to be focusing that panel on recruitment strategies and best practices. And they could focus on some of the challenges, but I think they really want to focus on really what is working and what might be new for the people that are sitting there listening, that they can take away and, possibly look at implementing in their own organizations. And I think that's really important when we looked at and continue to look at who's going to be sitting in those chairs, is really making sure that there's going to be some value for people that are actually in the audience, so that they'll be able to walk away with some really great takeaways. I think that's probably what's exciting from my perspective, being able to actually see that. I know if I attend an event, I want to walk away with something tangible that I can say, I got something out of the day, and not just sitting there listening to people talk, but to actually give me something of value. So I'm excited about that. I know we're going to be able to showcase some great presenters at that event.
Yeah.
I think I got a feeling that all of your speakers, the people who attend, will be walking away with something actionable from all of them, not just, and Zellick's going to do a great job. I know he will.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard him before. It's just not going to be just him, though. It's going to be Tova and that Richardson guy as well.
And then you got that straight shooter, Trevor Bent. And he's not. He's straight. I know that cat. He's a good cat. He knows his stuff. He's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, Trevor's fantastic. He's going to really bring together the retention side and talk about retention, talk about the strengths of retaining a good workforce and why that's so important. Today, because really we focus so much on recruiting, that retention is such a big piece of it. We can't afford to lose good people. At the end of the day, that's just not an option for us. So really focusing on retention is going to push us over the line, I think, in terms of the deliverables.
Cool.
Yeah. I see it so often, way too often in most of my companies, that they are way too worried about recruiting. And they're not worried enough about keeping those that are already there. It would be so much less expensive to keep those ones that are there than letting them go and it's trying to turn the wheel again. Kim, I can see the bubble above your head there.
I just what you're saying is in my opinion so true. We spend anywhere from on the low side $6,000 to $10,000 to hire a new employee into our industry. I'm not just going to say driver, train them. One of the things that just grinds my gears is when I hear, well, you come on and you'll have a 90-day probational period, right? Those days are gone. It's not a probation. It shouldn't be a probation period. It should be an introductory period.
Yep.
And the good companies who utilize those words properly and say, listen, we do have a 90-day introductory period, and if it's not going to work for you, if we're not doing something that doesn't fit with you early, let us know so we can try to fix it, because we've worked really hard at bringing you on, and we want you to stay. And then after that period of time, what are you going to do for me next? Like, what's a 1-year plan? What can they expect to be educated on? What's the opportunities for growth? Especially with today's youth, man. If we don't keep them excited, sayonara, they're gone.
Yeah. I worked with an operation here that put an awesome program in place with their new hires. And it didn't even matter what experience level you had. It was a new hire. You could have be a guy with 10 years, 20 years experience, or a new guy right out of school in the mentoring program. But they had people on a team, and they were part of the kind of the onboarding team, you could say. And what they did is every week, somebody in that team reached out to that driver or that employee to go, how's it going? How are your thoughts? What's happening? How's it working out? Everything going well? Is there anything we can do for you? Anything we could change? Anything we can help? Every week for the first 2 months. Okay, for 60 days, every week. And then after that, it dropped off, went to every other week. And what was interesting was this team was smart enough to realize that when something happened, whether it be a violation, an incident, lost time of some sort or whatever, whenever there was some type of little thing, they were quick to blame themselves, not the employee, because they said, we just failed that person because we didn't follow through, we didn't provide instruction clearly enough, or we didn't set that person up for success. And that operation is 1 in a million. And I wish more people would get into that, because what did it cost them to have these people that were already working in this organization to reach out to that driver or employee? What did it cost? Nothing in comparison to what it costs to recruit that driver. So, we need to invest in keeping them.
Well said,
Yeah,
Johnny.
you want to touch an employee's or an associate's heart. Just deal with their family. Know when their birthdays are, know what sports are playing, and that's where you want to focus, because this industry is, let's face it, there's so many good people in it. There's some of the others too, but if we stay focused on the families and the culture, I think that's 2 really key ingredients.
Yeah. I heard of a large company out of the U.S., and I can't remember the name, to be honest with you, that they would send the driver's wife in particular, they would send her flowers on her birthday and on their wedding anniversary. And particularly if the driver was not home, if he was off on the road, then they would send that as an apology that they couldn't get that driver home for her birthday. So they'd send flowers. Interesting enough, they added one more touch to it. If he was going to be home, they would supply him with the flowers to give to his wife. And that was the key, because they said, if you can get the wife to stay, she'll make the husband stay.
That's awesome. I think that is great. Kelly, when is the NRRS out in the Atlantic provinces?
The reception is the evening before May, so it's May 25th, and the actual conference itself is May 26th.
And what city is it in?
The big city of Truro, Nova Scotia.
Yay! And I say that because I've been there, and it's an awesome place.
Yeah, no, it's a great town, and we're really pleased to be able to host it here. So
Cool.
I think we'll have a great event, and lots of hospitality. So come to the East Coast and get to experience what an event is like here.
I think that's awesome. Kim, last word?
Well, Kelly's being very humble as always. The hospitality that they provide at their events, and just making you feel so much at home and comfortable. And it's a lot of people say it's the East Coast way, but I'll tell you, no one knows no one knows how to run an event and make people feel better than Kelly and her team. And we're so fortunate to be able to partner with them. We really are.
And that's the
Cool.
truth, having been blessed to go to the East Coast many times.
Yes, nice place.
I love going to the East Coast.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming on. And that's it for the Trucking Risk and Insurance podcast for this week. I want to really thank Kelly Henderson and Kim Richardson for joining us on the show. And I would encourage you, if you can get out there, on May 25th and 26th is the event, the NRRS, the National Recruiting, Retention and Symposium out in Truro, Nova Scotia. So join them. Kelly promises to take good care of you. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.